What we do has a great weight on everybody's soul.
He has diminished not only his stature, but the stature of everyone in the judicial system.
I stand here today a humble man.
The downfall of a judge. He was in the middle of one of the biggest capital cases in Knox County history, a brutal carjacking and double murder with multiple defendants, racial implications, and a community demanding justice. In the midst of all this, it appears he developed an addiction to pain pills that would be his downfall. This week, Judge Richard Baumgardner was the one being judged as he faces charges of official misconduct.
Comes the District Attorney General Pro Tem for the 6th Judicial District of the state of Tennessee and presents, says, and charges that Richard R. Baumgardner, duly elected criminal court judge of Division I of the 6th Judicial Circuit of the state of Tennessee, heretofore to wit, on about the blank day of November 2009 to the blank day of September 2010, in the Stadium County aforesaid, did with the intent to receive a benefit, intentionally or knowingly refrained from performing a duty imposed by law or was clearly inherent in the nature of his office by not revoking the probation of Chris Gibson, convicted felon who unlawfully possessed and delivered to Richard R. Baumgardner controlled substances on multiple occasions in violation of the laws of the state of Tennessee that he, Richard R. Baumgardner, was sworn to uphold.
Special Prosecutor Al Schmutzer says convicted felon Chris Gibson was on probation in Baumgardner's court for reckless endangerment and aggravated assault, and the judge did not revoke his probation, even though he clearly knew Gibson was dealing pills. Schmutzer outlined the evidence. He says the investigation started with an anonymous tip that Chris Gibson was selling pharmaceuticals to Judge Baumgardner. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation was on the case. They found evidence of an association, but they got their real break in January 2011 after compiling enough evidence for a search warrant for Gibson's home.
They found a gun that he, as a convicted felon, wasn't supposed to have, and then in talking to him at that time, that he gave a detailed statement of his relationship with Judge Baumgardner. That he told them that from approximately November of 2009 up until September of 2010 that having been introduced to Judge Baumgardner, he began supplying him with various controlled substances that are illegal to possess except by prescription. But among those were Percocet, the Roxicodone, Hydrocodone, and Suboxone. That he would sometimes supply him as often as 2 to 3 times a week. That the amounts would be anywhere from 10 to 20 pills at a time.
After hearing all this, investigators obtained several photographs, one of Baumgardner and Gibson at the judge's car in Gibson's driveway. Phone records showed more than 800 contacts between the judge and admitted dealer. And with Gibson's cooperation, they recorded more phone conversations between them. When all of this came to light, Judge Baumgardner stepped down, taking indefinite medical leave and checking himself into a rehabilitation center. He talks about his treatment when he faces the judge in his own defense.
Your Honor, I stand here today a humble man. I love this judicial system, and for the last nearly 19 years, I've done my very best to bring credit to this system. I love this community, and I consider it an honor to have had an opportunity to serve this community. I have lately let this system and this community down, let my family down. I have a disease, and it is a serious disease. I do not offer that as an excuse. I take absolute and full responsibility for my conduct. I have taken some steps to address this problem. I have other medical issues that's of no concern here today, but I intend to continue to take positive steps forward, and I trust that by doing that, that I can, in some new way, continue to be a benefit to my family and to this community and the citizens of Knox County. I deeply regret that I have brought disfavor on the judicial system.
Judge Baumgardner pleaded guilty to official misconduct, a Class E felony, and he agreed to step down immediately. He was sentenced to 2 years suspended sentence under judicial diversion. That means he'll serve no jail time and, if he doesn't get into any more trouble, can have his record wiped clean and apparently be able to keep his pension. Special Prosecutor Al Schmutzer didn't seem completely satisfied. He tells the media he didn't agree to judicial diversion, but he didn't oppose it either.
We didn't have to do that, quite frankly, because the judge can grant judicial diversion even if we had tried the case. So that was really the main concession that the state gave for this plea agreement. And quite frankly, him coming forward and pleading, entering the plea to the felony, brought this matter to a conclusion that otherwise probably would have taken somewhere 2.5 years or more, and would have really have done even more damage to the criminal justice system. And we would have been at the same place ultimately with the judge deciding what to do with him, whether or not to grant him judicial diversion. Even if the state had resisted it, the state can grant it.
Speaking of the damage to the criminal justice system, are you concerned at all about the cases that he's presided over the past couple of years?
Well, I don't think, whether I'm concerned, I think, that those defendants would have a high burden to carry to show that his addiction somehow adversely affected their cases, but it's something they can talk about. And that in and of itself, creates a cloud that otherwise wasn't there.
The courtroom was filled with troubled onlookers during the hearing, colleagues and fellow judges watching as longtime Judge Richard Baumgardner was essentially derobed. The whole affair seemed a tough task for presiding Judge John Kerry Blackwood, who spoke of the mortal wound to the justice system before agreeing to judicial diversion. Blackwood called it a tragedy. He says it does demonstrate one lesson, though, saying, even the exalted, even the most revered, most successful, we all walk with clay feet. I'm Catherine Howell.